Hi, I'm Ben Quiggle, editor of Woodall's Campground magazine, and this is another edition of Supplier Showcase. And with me today is Joanne Corelli, who is the North American Sales and Marketing Director for EP
Sales and
Plumbing.
customer service.
Sales and customer service. See, I'm a marketer person, so I always think marketing. But for EP Climbing, and I guess, Joanne, just right off the bat, I guess maybe we should explain a little bit about what the company is. You guys provide like climbing walls, surfaces, boulders, different things like that, correct?
Yep, you are very correct. We actually do climbing walls. We have our statement, which is brings climbing to everyone. So we actually manufacture, and design and build climbing walls, schools, universities, parks and recs, climbing gyms, even the Olympics. And so EP has been a climbing wall provider since it's been 40 years actually this
Wow.
year. So since 1985. While we're based in France, I actually work with the U.S. office, and we're in Bend, Oregon. And like I said, we really are manufacturers of climbing walls. So if you're looking for climbing within your facility, we can supply it. We have different surface technologies. We have different, boulders. We have competition walls, like I said, for the Olympics. So really, over the course of those 40 years, we've always been a leader in the innovation and design of climbing walls. When a lot of people think of, the first climbing walls, well, they were interesting. They were meant to simulate the outdoor experience, right? The
Yeah.
hardcore climbers needed a place to train in the winter. And so they really looked like that real rock and everything. And now if you walk into a modern climbing gym, it's bright colors. It's, the surface is flat. And a lot of that is to allow for different route setting, different movements. And so we actually have a product line that really has that real rock for people that are looking for that in their outdoor setting to those modern, if you want to say modern, fancy climbing walls.
Yeah, let's pull up the website here so people can
Sure.
kind of get a picture of what we're talking about. When I was in middle school, I think I had my first climbing experience at a camp, and it was like just a wood structure they put up with some like things to climb on. I don't know what you guys call them, and that was that. But these are way fancier than that. So you've got like freestanding structures for like competitions and events.
Yes.
Some of the stuff I've seen some of these walls for colleges and universities. I've been at a few colleges that have those. And then, it looks like you got some tactical training stuff here for like military or police.
Mhm.
And we'll just scroll through here. But, obviously we cater to parks and recreation. So, kind of describe a little bit about what you do on the parks and recreation side as far as working with like public parks or playgrounds or RV parks.
Sure.
So,
The photo that you're showing is actually the Alpenglow Park here in Bend, Oregon, where we worked with the Parks and Recs department to build
mhm.
out an entire, basically, bouldering area for their park.
Yeah,
And so we have not only we have some standard boulders, so you can just call up and order your boulder, or we have custom designs like this one, which it's larger. They're looking for again they would like holds. We can do holds, we can do not holds, and just use the
yeah,
actual natural surface of the structure itself. And so, really, within the Parks and Recs, we have worked on, again, really different opportunities to where it has the real rock or those first climbing gyms that you've shown. We make boulders out of
mhm,
that surface as well. So, depending on the look and feel and the design that the Parks and Rec is looking for, we can work with them to actually incorporate climbing in the way that they would like. Probably
yeah,
one of the most unique Parks and Recs that we have done is actually Maggie Daley Park in Chicago. If you've ever seen this, it is a gigantic structure. It is meant to be for rope climbing.
yeah,
Um, yeah. And when you look at some of the photos of Maggie Daley Park, all you can see is the city in the background. That it really was meant to be an iconic opportunity for the city to climb. That was probably one of the largest outdoor projects that we've worked on next to this Alpenglow here in Bend.
Let's see if we can find it. I'll scroll down here. I think I've been to that park because I live
Mhm.
in Michigan, and I think I know. Oh, right
Yep,
here.
there you
Let's
go.
see if we
Uh-huh.
can get the image. Well, it has a graphic. Oh, maybe it play here. Will it play anything?
Oh, no, I don't know if it'll
No.
play.
Okay, but
You can
I've been
always,
to
if
that.
you do, if you Google it, it's yeah, it's a very impressive structure. But
Yeah,
I think what it shows is when you look at Alpenglow or you look at Maggie Daly or even some of the smaller projects that we've done for Parks and Recs, we
yeah,
really have the opportunity to tailor the needs of that particular Parks and Recs department and their community. Some maybe they are financially constrained and they just want to do a small boulder park for younger children, or some are saying, okay, we want to have an area outside where everyone can climb, and we could have $1 million. We work within budgets. We understand the fundraising for Parks and Recs as well. That this is not something that you might not have the money today, but we'll work with you while you build the money through your community and get the resources to be able to get the funding, whether that's through some sort of resource allocation through a grant or potentially a referendum that you need voted on by your community. And so I think for me personally, that's probably one of my favorite places to work in as far as markets is where someone comes with an idea and wants to expose their community to climbing, and then they come to us and say, okay, but we need to do this. Because working with someone who's passionate, who's looking for grants, who's looking for this, it's like I love being in that journey with them and supporting them throughout it. Because exposing community to climbing is personally very close to my own heart. Climbing is one of the few sports where you have a group of, I'll just say, young children, and you watch them climb together and you naturally see the problem solving. You see, kind of the emotional development, the psychological development, as well as the physical activity. And then a lot of times they don't even know it, like they're really doing a sport, right? It's kind of a play. And so I've been lucky enough to see the impact of climbing firsthand throughout my career, mostly through the competition side.
here we can share this. Can you hear me? Yep.
Yes, I can hear you.
We'll share this. I couldn't find any picture. I mean, there is pictures of the park, but in Chicago. But I figured we could share this. I have seen like campgrounds with similar type structures to some of these. How many like RV parks and campgrounds do you currently work with? Do you work with a lot of RV parks and campgrounds, or is that a new sector for you?
It's a very new sector for us. We just sold a boulder here to a brand new RV park in Bend, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
Um, and then we've continued to talk to a number of campgrounds. I would say we've worked with a handful over the years. Um, but getting into the market is really where we are right now. And what we see as we look at the demographics of climbers and we look at the demographics of campground and RV owners, and they're very
Mhm.
similar.
Yeah.
And right now, camping is really becoming, if you'd want to say, even more popular. As far as travel, people, when you look at a hotel experience or a camping or an outdoor experience, people are looking for more, and that's where climbing plays into it as well. Because as I was saying, it's a activity that you can really have throughout your entire life. It's very impactful. It's fun. So it's also something easy. You put a boulder out as a campground owner, you do not, you're not looking at a lot of extra spend every year to keep it going, right? You should do annual maintenance, but you don't even really need to have rental shoes if you don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one of the things whenever we talk about amenities with park owners. The other thing is like the liability insurance aspect. Obviously, if you get a bigger, larger climbing wall with a lot of pretty high climbing wall, I imagine there's more insurance. But you also offer like products where you don't need any of that stuff. They're just low to the ground, correct?
Right. Yeah. And that's exactly. And bouldering is one that was without ropes. So to your point, you don't need the
Yeah.
extra equipment of the harness. You don't need the ropes. You don't need the auto belay. Um, you wouldn't have to have it manned, right, where you would actually need someone to actually belay your campers. And the nice part is, like with a boulder, depending on the layout of your campground, you can find an area too where if you'd like to have smaller boulders that are just for younger campers,
Hmm.
the family could still sit around and talk and be, and like they could be in the proximity. So a lot of the opportunities with boulders are really working with the individual campground owner to understand what their goal is in the experience. Are you looking for a multi-generational experience so that you get the hardcore climbers, again, as well as maybe youth? Or, are you just looking for something that's, again, just another activity,
Yeah.
for, again, who is it for and what is it for, I think is the point.
And I think you mentioned before, what's the process you guys help? So obviously you guys are helping design, or you're coming out to the park to help them figure out what might work for them, I guess.
Yeah, so the way that the design process typically works, like I said, we have standard boulders that we can give you the size and we can show you, but if you give us your layout of your park, we can drop it in different locations and do like a rendering. But if you're looking for a custom structure, whether it be a freeform boulder, which is looking like real rock, or a mosaic XP, which is a fiberglass composite that looks like those new climbing gyms that we were looking at before,
Uh-huh.
um, we talk about size, we talk about location, we talk about the purpose, and again, we'll do a rendering, and so we will give you the opportunity to really understand how it can work. Then we'll go ahead and design it, and then we will come and install it into your campground. So it's pretty, as far as pretty easy. It's very easy.
So what on the training, do you guys also train people on how to
We
use
do, yeah,
them?
we
Okay.
do. When we install, we can have one of the installers, or we have a series of technicians and inspectors that actually travel the country and work with all climbing walls on the maintenance training and inspection. And they can, give you a training on bouldering. They can talk to you about the holds. They can show you, best practices. And so there's lots of opportunity when we build a climbing wall. We really are with you for life and through the life cycle of that entire product. So we design it, we come and install it. We'll help you train your staff and working with it. We'll come and maintain it and inspecting it. And then, when you want to remodel or replace it, we'll be there as well. So it's one of the things that makes, I think, EP a little bit different than some of the other climbing wall providers, is that we do have this kind of life cycle that we work with the owner of the climbing wall or climbing gym.
Yeah, definitely. Is this something where I imagine at a lot of campgrounds, I know the San Diego KOA, Ventura Ranch KOA, they have climbing walls. I think the West Glacier KOA does. But I imagine at some of those parks, it might just be included in the camping experience. But do you also see places like sell tickets for this kind of stuff, or like charge money to use the climbing wall?
There are some communities that are now starting to do that. There's one specifically, Mill Creek. They put it on the side of their city hall, and they've actually turned it into an amusement where you can come and pay to use the climbing wall. So there could be that opportunity depending on the campground and what they're looking to do. And again, that's where maybe, because it's a rope situation and you need to be staffed and need to use, so that's where you might want to see it's an additional amenity that you would need to pay for, versus a boulder where it could just be out and it could be self-use.
All right, and I mean, I always hate to ask about pricing for certain things because I know it probably varies a lot depending on what type of structure. But I guess if you had to give me like a range, like what's the cheapest thing you've ever seen to like the most expensive? I guess.
So if you want to put in, let's just say, two small real rock slide, which are free form boulders, you're looking in the neighborhood of, $30,000, $40,000, upwards to a Maggie Daily, like, that we were talking
Yeah.
about, an outdoor, probably in the millions. And
Okay.
that's why I think, again, it's really important, if you are interested, is to just give us a call and talk to us, because once you understand what you're looking for, then we can really dial in the pricing. And I think it is really important for campgrounds to understand is that there is opportunity to add climbing in your budget, no
Okay.
matter what your budget is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How do people get in touch with EP climbing?
Well, you can visit our website at epclimbing.com. We also have a hello at epclimbing.com that they can send us an email. But and I answer all the emails that come into the hello inbox. So
Okay. So we need to flood it.
yeah,
Flood
you
so
can
we keep
flood
you
it. That would
busy.
be fine. That would be
That
fine.
would be fine. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Joanne, for talking about the climbing walls and EP climbing, and thanks everyone for watching.
Yep. Thank you, everybody. We look forward to seeing you climbing at your campground this summer.